In China, we have more than 300 million people following basketball every year. Maybe more than 100 million young kids, they want to play basketball to age from 18 to 22. Is exactly what we have in China. This is the age group we want to develop to help China basketball. The University of Memphis is going to host 15 Chinese coaches for their training camp, for all kind of training, and one of these 15 going to stay here for the rest of the season.
The exchange program came about because John Calipari, one of my very good friends, called me and knowing that I had involvement with Chinese basketball, said that he had this idea about having some coaches come over from China to observe his practices and to get something going.
That drive and that skip over the top is unbelievable, okay? You're supposed to loop, okay? You know who was in there, you're trying to take off, loop.
Tomorrow will be this kind of training that you'll have an idea of how we physically get our players stronger and prepared for the season. There will be 10 practices that you will observe.
然后这次来呢，大家可以观摩10次训练。
After the practice is over, we will go on the court and thoroughly explain what we were doing to you. If there's any questions, we'll spend an hour after every practice.
I want this to be random when we start playing. They see it's breaking down, the other team shagging, they run right into it, which opens up the court, go, and if you go off, they're going back in, okay? They can do that randomly.
And one of those big items was to have a coaching exchange program similar to the way that the European and South American countries did in the 1960s and 70s and 80s, and by sending coaches to colleges, universities, and even professional teams to observe techniques here in Memphis.
My knowledge comes from Del Harris, who spent time there, and says that they've got to improve guard play. Well, that's what this offense is about. They've got to get grassroots basketball going so there's more players to pick from. Well, that's what this program's about. They've got to come up with a style and system that they're comfortable with. That's what this is about.
The biggest weakness in basketball in China, I think you all know, is not so much with the big people. It's with the smaller people, the guards. Basketball is a team that is just like a hand. You have a thumb, and then you have little finger, and you have other fingers, and they all work together, but they're not all the same size. And basketball's that way too. And they didn't develop the smaller player, what we call the guards, as well. The Chinese, as we all know, are not afraid to work. They will work. The problem that I saw was that the practices were too long. And while the Chinese were willing to work 6, 7, 8 hours a day at it, that's not the way that we do it in the United States, not the way they do it in Europe. We work shorter time, but we work harder, quicker, more forcefully. When any human being is working 6 or 8 hours, he must learn to pace himself. or you can't get through. Nobody that's human of any culture is capable of working as hard as he can all the time for 6 or 8 hours. So we shortened those practices and we said, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for shorter but more intense, harder. Give best you can, don't save. Chinese Basketball Association is still behind, say, the Spanish League, the Greek League, the Italian League, the NBA. But due to the great leadership of Mr. Lee, Mr. Hu, and the Chinese Basketball Federation in general, their total commitment to the program, it is the fastest improving and rising program in the world. So there's great progress being made, and it will happen. And but we're in a hurry because of 2008.
Last year is over. The banner's up, and now it's this year. The only thing I can tell you right now, we don't know where it's going, but I'll tell you what, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Because we have self-motivated players that are driven and on a mission. The second thing we have, a bunch of guys, they like each other. They trust each other. They're there for each other. That's why I'm excited about what we got going. For all of you that came tonight, look at this crowd tonight for our practice on a Friday night. We have no students on campus. And there's Friday night football, and all you people decided to come. We just want to let you know how much we all appreciate it. Thank you, folks. Fade away, and let it fade away. Okay, keep going. Hold it, hold! Just using common sense now. If a guy is driving to get by you, do you go this way? Or he drives to get by you, I go lower, try to cut him off. You cannot, on a drive, move up. The only reason you're doing that is you think he's going to beat you, so you're trying to do anything to foul him. He makes a move, and he goes to go drop and go lower and get in front of him again. That's your only hope, okay? Both hands up. Finish this out.
They're here to watch us for 10 days, to see how we run a program, to see how we teach, to see the drills that we use, the development of players.
You're going to see angles for layups.
然后你注意他的那个就是跑篮的那个角度。
And skip passes if they stop that layup.
如果他们把那个就是突破的路线给封闭了之后，然后注意那个传球。
All right, here we go. Right at each other. We're going to stutter, and we're going right. So we're going right. And then the next time I'm going to say cross over. Now you're in a dead sprint. The other dude better be paying attention. Come on, Donnell. We're in a dead sprint in the right hand. Everything's right. I'm going to say cross over. We got to cross and go. Okay?
For 5 years, we're going to bring over a delegation of coaches. That delegation will be different every year. One of those coaches will stay to truly study how we travel, how we treat the kids, what happens while they're in school, the individual work, all the training which we do throughout the year. He'll be able to follow us. What they're trying to do is come over and just learn another way of doing it. And then it doesn't mean they totally change what they've been doing in China. They try to improve it. I'm also trying to learn from them to improve what I'm doing here. Give me what you're doing. Give me some drills. You're watching us play. How do we make this better? And that's what this should be about.
now we're having a little exhibition game between our coaches and managers against some of the Chinese delegation coaches. So I think this is more like an exhibition game.
Okay, China versus USA.
Our starting point guard is going to be Rod Strickland, who is a 17-year NBA veteran who's part of our staff here.
谁会赢呢？看比赛的结果，现在不好预测。看比赛的结果，中国应该加油，中国加油。
My guys are going to take it a little bit more seriously than they anticipated.